I just felt like it was a great opportunity to be a leader.
This is the freestyle way.
So, Bboy Wicket,
Howdy.
welcome to the podcast.
Pleasure to be here.
Dude, this is your third appearance, technically. You did one interview, I think it was episode 13. And then on episode 3, you did a soundbite for it. And in addition to that, you are pretty much on every single episode of the podcast because you are the voiceover in the intro and you created the soundtrack. So, Wicket, you're all over this thing.
That makes me very, very spoiled.
I don't know if it's spoiled or if it makes me lucky. You were also the sound engineer for the podcast for 2 seasons.
Yeah, that was a great experience.
What
Not
the
having
heck?
not having to mix any music, but mix vocals and to make sure that the transitions were smooth and everything was crispy. So that was great. Thank you for letting me do that.
Dude, amazing. I appreciate it. Well, I'm excited to talk to you. We talk on the phone all the time, so maybe we'll make this conversation similar to the conversations that we have in private, but adding a little bit of a direction. And the direction that I wanted to kind of go down today was breaking your career and just to like dive into it right away. When it comes to breaking, now that I've been kind of close to the fire for a while, I realize that there are a lot of myths or misconceptions. What's the most common misconception when it comes to breaking, especially when you're out and about and somebody asks you what you do and you say breaking or breakdancing and they go like, oh, so on like cardboard? Like that could be a myth. What, in your opinion, is the biggest misconception?
The misconception is we never stopped. It didn't go anywhere. We never stopped. It just it just wasn't in. It didn't disappear. It wasn't in the mainstream eye. It was still going on, and it was going on in the '80s, the '90s, the 2000s. Now that the Olympics are featuring breaking in it, all of a sudden people are like, "Hey, so breaking came back." No, it's been here. So
Yeah, it's interesting because I guess that's the commercial side of things. I was listening to Rockstrite the other day on Profo's podcast, and one of the things that Rockstrite said was that although breakdancing is going to the Olympics and this whole thing is kind of exploding, that breaking is still an underground culture and it's still an underground craft. Uh, do you agree with that, or do you see it differently?
I agree with that 100%. It's still very raw. You pick your lane. You know, there's opportunity to take it to the professional level with the Olympics, and there's opportunity to still keep it raw and not um, go that direction. So uh, you just have to be focused on what your goal is. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to say? Where are you trying to compete at? So yeah, that's 100% accurate, and I think it's great for the scene.
Yeah. What do you want people to know about breaking? People who know nothing about it. What do you hope they see when they see it for the first time, for example, at the Olympics?
What I want them to see that this is a difficult uh it's a difficult dance. It's very difficult. It's not something you could just jump into and put a timeline on. Like if you say you have kids that you want to learn how to break, you can't tell them, okay, in 2 weeks you'll learn this, in 3 months you'll learn. No, everyone has a different uh, response to learning moves. Even if you have the greatest coaches, you're not going to learn these things in a week, in 2 weeks, in 2 months. Everybody's different. So it's just a game of patience and how your body responds to it and how often you practice. How faithful are you to your practice? And also, this is not this is still an art form in a sports manner, but it's a very tricky way to categorize it. But it's an art form and a sport. It's an art sport.
Hmm. Yeah, it's like Gravity likes to say is that the new athletes are artists, and that's exactly what you're expressing here. You, from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong here, you were in the timeline of the existence of breaking. You emerged in breaking at the time where the culture was transitioning into a more competitive expression. Is that true? First and foremost.
Yeah, I believe in the early '90s, breaking events they were really rare. There were only a few throughout the year, maybe 5, 6. I mean, now you've got 5, 6 in 1 month. So yeah, I've definitely been through the wave.
Right. And what was it about competing and breaking that was exciting to you or appealing to you? Why not just practice on your own with your friends and do it in a way that was more based in the roots of like dancing in a club, for example, and connecting in that way?
Well, first, it's really to prove to yourself that you can learn these moves and to master a move. That's, for me, that's what it was about. Um, and then once I began to master a move and perform these moves in front of people, then it became like, oh, I became popular all of a sudden, and I just wanted to become more popular and more popular and get the attention. So it was a mixture of that and wanting to um, stay that guy, like be the best.
Hmm. Yeah, talk to me about popularity. Like, what's up with that? Why do you think we crave being popular or recognized? Why did you crave that?
It was just it was uh, it was like a rush. Even though I'm really a shy guy, but once you tap into a source where music hits you and music inspires you and people around you want to see you perform or battle, something changes and you become this other person. And it's a rush. You want it to last forever, but it doesn't last forever. And and the next time you see these people, you want to be better. You want to show something else, what you've been working on. So it's a constant reminder that this is what my passion is still, and I continue to want to challenge myself and to show people, look, this is what I've been working on. So it's a constant uh, way of challenging yourself and staying a student, not getting comfortable. That's
Mm.
that's how I look at it.
Yeah, and if people go back to episode 13, talking about being a student, you dropped out of school because you didn't want to be a student of the system. You wanted to be a student of breaking.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. So what did breaking teach you? What's like the take home lesson that breaking taught you that school couldn't at the time?
Breaking. I mean, that's what I fell in love with. That's what I wanted to learn. That's what was keeping me out of gangs. I mean, I was hanging out with gangsters. I could have easily been a driver. But I chose a different route, and breaking breaking was
I just can't imagine you. That's hilarious.
yeah, exactly, right. You can't, because it's not me, but that's why I hung around with at school. But luckily, I fell in love with breaking, and it took me a different route. And at that point, it just school was just not giving me that freedom, giving me that joy. And and I just felt like this is something that I had to take advantage of. I was getting opportunities, and I was young, I was athletic, uh, I was in the beginning of my prime, and it was just yeah, it was just an opportunity that I had to take. It was a risk, and luckily I had the family to support. Of course, they weren't, they were not happy about my decisions, my grades, dropping out of school, moving away, but they supported me. So owe a lot to my family.
Yeah, it seems like this is actually a theme with artists and creatives and people who kind of don't conform to the system that the majority of us follow, is that they, at an relatively early age, 15, 16, 17, tend to just go out and try to do their thing. And I'm just wondering, how do you see now, looking back, how your family took it, and what would you have done if you were in their position?
Good question. Wow. I would have told uh, my mentors to keep me in school and to listen to my family.
Okay, so yeah, mentors. That's great. Do you currently
Yeah,
have mentors?
absolutely. You're one of them, if, if you know it or not.
Yeah, you've told me that, and we have a good friendship, and I appreciate being able to guide you in any way that I can. But yeah, in terms of your mentors, do you seek out mentors? Do they appear? How do you find them? Because I know a lot of young breakers, young artists, young creatives are constantly trying to figure out, how do I break through? But I mean, you are in the prime of your career, although you're retired from competition. You're in. I see you as in the prime of your career. Uh, you seem to be still trying to grow, and I'm curious. Yeah, how do you seek out the support of others and mentorship, and how has it been helping you specifically?
I mean, mentorship is available. I mean, look at the technology now. Our phones, or the MacBook, all the technology is just a source to reach out and to better yourself. I mean, my mentor on IG all day. I'm reaching out to people that I don't even know, asking questions. Sometimes they'll respond back. Sometimes they won't. Sometimes they'll drop videos, and I'll be like, "Oh, that's how you do it. Oh, this is how you edit. Oh, this is when I should post. Oh, this is when I should go to sleep." um, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of information out there now that I learned from my students, and I'm like, damn, I should be paying you. So it's like whatever I have a drive to do, like whatever I want to learn or whatever I'm trying to do this month. If I'm trying to put out a magazine, if I'm trying to put out a music video, some new beats, whatever it is, I'm just always staying in tune and seeing what else is out. What else do I need to learn? And even if I do know how to make a beat, there's got to be some new technology or some new plugin or whatever to make it even better. How can I
Right.
reach people? How can I just be better all around?
Hmm.
So if it's not you, then it may be my student. It may be somebody on IG. It may be somebody on YouTube. I mean, the information is there. We just have to, be patient and search for the information, the correct information.
Yeah, which sometimes searching for that information takes a long time, and also the other thing is, sometimes searching for that information within your immediate community is not always the best avenue. It doesn't mean that it's not there. It just means that maybe there's somebody in a different environment, in a different context, that has different expertise. You were talking about sleep. You were talking about editing. You were talking about growing your social media, whatever it is. There are people out there that know how to do it better, and integrating what other experts are saying or other people in other fields are saying is really powerful. And I think that's something that I really admire about you, is that you have really um, been somebody who, like, cross pollinates, basically. Like,
Oh, I'm a cross pollinator.
yes, you are, in all shapes and forms.
Let's write
um
that down.
yeah,
Cross
yeah,
pollinator.
write that down,
How do
Wicket.
you spell pollinator? See, I should have stayed in school.
Yeah, should have
Pollinator.
stayed in
I'll
school.
figure it out.
But I think you know what I mean, that you have really been able to pull from different sources of information and integrate it into who you are and what you do as an artist, as a breaker, and in all the different roles that you currently express yourself in. Which kind of leads me to exactly a year and a few weeks ago. You brought me in to consult with you, Flowmaster, and Bonita. You were working with Breaking for Gold USA, and on developing Team USA, and what's going to be the group of people that represent the United States in the first Olympics that breaking is going to be in, which is in Paris in 2024. And I'm curious, why did you decide to join that team?
I just felt like it was a great opportunity to be a leader and to lead the athletes and to coach them in a way that I haven't been coached, and to give them my experience, share with them my formula of breaking, and to just try to give them the best opportunity to be better at practice and be better on the dance floor. So the opportunity was there. It still is there. I'm not as hands on as I was. I'm more of an advisor to the coaches and the athletes. But yeah, it was a great opportunity, and to to realize that this is huge for them. This is huge for us. This is huge for the country and huge for the scene. So it was a great honor to be a part of it.
Mm. Yeah, I agree. It was a very special time, and I was so thankful to get to be involved. It was interesting to see what's behind the scenes and how it works, and uh, it was fun to see the inception of something that I think is going to be historic in many ways. And it was also terrifying to see how much people are navigating in the dark and have no clue what's coming.
No light,
uh,
no flashlight, nothing.
nothing, nothing. And at for at the best of my abilities, I tried to advise every single one of you in a way that hopefully left some kind of hope for success, or accelerate the process in a way that allowed less pain to be experienced. Um, but regardless, I was just so excited to be a part of that, and it was cool to see you evolve through that process. You went from having taught breaking to becoming a coach, which is completely different. And I'm curious, in your mind, what changed and what evolved for you uh, to transition from teaching breaking to coaching breaking? Was there something that clicked for you there, or something that really changed that you could pinpoint?
Absolutely. It it all changed when I started to realize, oh, I have to coach these people differently. Each breaker I had to coach differently. It wasn't like a template that I could just apply to their practice. I had to adjust, customize, and delete things, and it was just like, what did I get myself into? This is not what I expected, but it was the challenge because now I was responsible for each athlete to make sure that they understood how to do certain things and how to execute, how to perform, how to battle, how to structure their rounds, and to realize, okay, each of these breakers need their own individual customized program. So it took a lot of time, and it taught me that it can't all be the same. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So
Yeah.
challenge accepted.
Yeah, it's a big one. And now you've taken on a slightly different role. You're no longer assistant coach. You're a consultant for Breaking for Gold USA and the coaching team, and potentially the athletes. Why did you transition away from the position of assistant coach?
Because I want to do it all. I'm trying to do it all. And I can't be responsible for these athletes if I'm not going to give them 100. And I told them that. I said, look, I got other things I want to do that I need to do right now. So if you want to keep me on, I'll still be an advisor, and I'll still be in touch, but I can't be hands on like I was last year. Um,
Mm,
there's too many things that I feel like I need to do right now. And this all happened when I realized uh, judging is not it. I got to stop this right now. And that's how I got into coaching. And then once I realized coaching was just part of this journey, this new journey that I've been sitting on for years because I was comfortable judging, that judge's seat is comfortable. And I didn't like being comfortable. So They gave me the blessing of, okay, do what you want. Go, we got you. We'll take care of it. So that's why you see me doing the magazine. I'm, still doing the Breakbook, producing music, DJing, doing it all.
Mm.
So yeah,
Yeah, it sounds like you are in a position right now where you want to continue to grow, and you will grow when you get to express yourself creatively at the highest level. And currently in coaching, specifically coaching athletes to go to the Olympics, is not where that lives at this moment.
absolutely not. I mean, like I said, I can't give them 100. I could still be on the sideline and be like, nope, you should have went left. You should have jumped. But I feel like since I've been judging for so long, almost 25 years, I stopped myself from growing. So I'm still trying to figure out what else can I do with this scene? How else can I be of service? And I can't be locked down at the moment with anything. So um in this current moment, we just released the Breakbook magazine, and I feel great about it. I feel really proud about that, and I feel like this is what the scene need. We need some type of magazine. I know Dance Delight from Japan has been putting their magazines out for years, and why can't we have two magazines? Why not three? So I just want to be an example to the scene. Like, look, we don't have to just be comfortable and be a judge. Put a magazine out, put some posters out, make a movie, make some more clothes, be a
Mm-hmm.
better chef.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, having those creative outlets, creating products, services that continue to push the breaking scene is key, and it seems like that's something that you're trying to do with the break book. And I mean, that leads us to, like, what is the break book? How did it happen? How did it come together? What is it? What are you trying to do with it?
What is the break book? The break book, well, basically is the playbook, right? That we created and that you helped us organize, and thankfully you let me run with it. And yeah, it's just basically a guideline of foundation, technique, formula, structure, all of the above, everything about breaking, battling, competing, um, and the people that want to join, they all have their own program. From what I learned to coach the Breaking for Gold athletes is basically what I'm applying to everybody else that wants to join, and not as a that high of a level, but within their range. I mean, there's everyone's still growing, and I'm still growing. I'm learning other ways of um, creating formulas with people that join every day, and it's just it's still a challenge. Like, I still don't have a grip of how to be saucy with it. I still have to, like, whoa, wait a minute, I gotta fall back. That didn't work.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what the Breakbook is. Basically a mentorship program.
Hmm. So the Breakbook is a mentorship program, but also produces like a magazine, like you have right now.
Yeah, so the Breakbook magazine is, see, the idea was I wanted to feature people in the Breakbook program. I wanted to give shine to what their process is like, what their development is like, and tell their stories, and let the parents have some of them are kids, and their parents are heavily involved. So sometimes the parents, they have great ideas, and they don't have the platform or the audience that will listen to them. So why not give them that platform? And it just turned into something else. Like, why not interview Scheme Richards? Why not interview Finesse? Why not interview Baby Girl? So it's just turning into something else that's out of my control. I'm just being in the moment, listening to the universe, and staying out of the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. It's a way of curating an experience or something that people can consume. That one sheds light on what you're doing with the Breakbook, which is mentoring young and even not so young breakers in how to express themselves at the highest level within breaking, but at the same time, um, adding value to that by sharing people who are prominent figures in the space that are in different areas, like Scheme Richards, DJing. Then you have Finesse, who now is making music and rapping, and I think even singing a little bit.
Yeah, he's doing it all. We
He's
don't
doing
we
it
don't
all.
we don't just break.
Right. He used to break with you a lot when you guys were competing, and in fact, I got to work with him when we worked at Acro Sports. That's how I met him. But yeah, it's cool. Yeah, that's right. That's how we met. But it's cool to see that coming together, and as you're working on curating these experiences, on mentoring people, and trying to create services and products that push breaking to new levels. What is the biggest trend that you're currently seeing in breaking that maybe most people are missing?
The biggest trend is everyone is they're in that fast lane. They want the fast track because there's so many events. They all think, oh, I got to compete at the next one. Oh, the next one. Oh, next month, next week. Oh, this crew's doing it. It's like there's so many events. You don't have to compete at every event. Give yourself time to develop. I mean, breaking is only getting bigger and bigger and bigger. There's no rush. So that's what I try to tell everybody that joins the Breakbook. They all have this thought, oh, because Bboy Wicket is coaching me, I'm gonna learn quicker. I'm gonna be better faster. And
Which
I
is
tell
true.
them, ah, because come week 3, week 4, and they still ain't got that backspin of baby freeze. I'm like, see, slow down. So it's a game of patience. Everyone has to be patient, including myself.
Mhm. So you're
And
saying that you can't rush the physicality of breaking. So what is it that because one of the things that mentors do is, and coaches, is that they can accelerate somebody's process and make sure that they are hitting the head on the nail every single time, every rep, every time they show up, the way they think, the way that they curate their lifestyles. What is it that you are accelerating and supercharging as a mentor and a coach, if it's not the physicality?
patience. Their patience. Because once they see that, oh, it worked, and I wasn't going fast, and I had control, then they understand, okay, I got to trust Wicked on his patience. So every time I see some reviews on some clips, I'm like, wow, they're actually listening. They're slowing down. Look, you actually held the freeze for 2 seconds. It's the patience, even for me. Because as a coach, I'm like, why can't you hold this freeze? Why can't you just put your left foot down? Put your right foot up. Put your hand down. Why can't you? I got to be patient too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess it's a combination of things. For those listening who have no clue what a freeze is, what is a
A
freeze
freeze
in
is
breaking?
basically the period to your sentence.
Mm-hmm. So it's like you complete a set and you finish in a pose that creates a shape, and that freeze should be completely static. It's a static pose, right?
A freeze, you should be frozen like a picture.
Right. And you're asking your students to hold that pose, correct?
Yeah, I'm asking my students to hold this pose because nowadays a lot of competitors will run through freezes and they'll do a freeze as a step or as a move, and it's supposed to be a freeze. And then they keep going after this freeze, and then they'll mess up and basically just waste the round. So I'm trying to tell everybody in the break book, look, once you freeze, that's it. That's it. Don't keep going up. Don't tail off after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a freeze is basically, like you said, the period at the end of your sentence, but maybe it gets confused with, and this is me speaking completely naively now, maybe it gets confused with something like stacking freezes, right? Because you can do different elements that you can stack on top of each other.
Right. Okay, so stacking is different. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
All
explain that.
right.
Just let's
All
get
right.
into it just for a
So
little bit, and then I want to go back to the freeze because there's something I want to say about that I'm curious about your opinion. So yeah, hit me with the stacking.
okay, so stacking is Okay, stacking is like hitting or movement, like without your feet touching the ground. You still have to just be on your hands, on your head, but your feet just can't touch the ground, and it's got to be on beat, and it's got to be a smooth transition to each stack. So it could be, you could be on the ground holding a baby freeze. You could push up to your forearm, push up to your head, handstand, back to your head. I mean, there's different levels, but uh see, to me, stacking was more like something you did at practice to challenge yourself, to challenge everybody at practice who had the control. How many stacks can you do? Iron Monkey would always win at these stacks because he would cheat. He would do like the first three, and there'd be like 7 stacks, and he would miss a couple and be like, "I did it. What do you guys talk?" So everyone would always give up against him because he would cheat. I can say that because we're friends. We're good buddies. But so yeah, yeah, stacking is, I don't really, I don't know, maybe that it has been done during competition, like in competition, but I just remember that as being something at practice.
Hmm. I feel like Rock's right. Sometimes there was a period of time where it was more like it, but he would do things that looked like stacking within his sets.
True. Okay. Okay, I was wrong.
I mean, he's a crewmate of yours, and he's one of the best breakers to have ever lived.
I totally
Uh,
forgot.
yeah. Anyway, stacking is a combination of poses that you do that have like small freezes within them to mark positions, but you do that in a way of expressing dance. A freeze is what you mark at as an endpoint of your sentence or your set, and that is something that just kind of like says, I've completed the thing that I'm doing, and having a strong finish is what you're kind of remembered by. And what I wanted to get back to was that I guess a lot of times when you hit a freeze, there's something about stopping that makes maybe you be more seen. And when you're fully seen, that can get a little scary and a little uncomfortable. And I'm wondering if that's also part of what makes people rush through uh, that moment, that accent.
Well, I honestly, I mean, the most correct way to hit this freeze is on the accent of a song. If the horn hits on the freeze and you stick that freeze, I mean, that's incredible. That shows uh, body control. You can stop on a dime, bang, and with musicality. Um, I think what's going on today is the music can be so damn fast. You know, people just want to hit this freeze and then go into something else because in their mind, when they're competing, your mind is going like this. You know, so I don't know. I mean, I just try to tell people, look, you hit this freeze, that's it. You keep going, you're at risk of messing up this whole round.
Yeah, that's something that I've seen a lot. I've seen somebody do this amazing set. They hit a freeze, and you're like, yes, now just walk away. And then they keep going. And then that little
Yeah,
finish of their set kind of takes away everything that they just did. That was epic.
yeah. I mean, it's like as a judge, when I would see these things, it's like the competitor would do an amazing, amazing first 15 seconds, getting their point across. Who are they? What are you trying to do? Oh, you are here to battle. You are here to win. And you hit this freeze. Oh, why are you keep, what are you doing? Why are you going back down? Why are you going back into power? Why are you going back into footwork? And then you've totally just messed up this whole round by messing up
Mm-hmm.
and not ending properly or not executing. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think one of the things, without even like having to talk about breaking specifically, now just in general, I think is uh, when when you're able to express yourself with less, a lot of times what you're saying is more.
Absolutely, 100%.
And I mean, now if we get super technical with this, which may bore people who are listening that know nothing about breaking, is that I spent a lot of time analyzing footage when I was working closely with you guys and the athletes, and I calculated that the average round lasts approximately 28.5 seconds. Okay, so that's like
Man,
the average round of
with
a
the point
breaker.
five.
Lasts that long, and there are very few out there that can go longer than 30 seconds and seem to like climb up to the top. And there are very few that can do less than 28 seconds, 30 seconds, and climb to the top. And it just kind of confirmed to me that being concise yet complete is the name of the game. And that is a very hard thing to do. And that's one of the reasons that it's not just like you're going to learn this really hard move, but learning how to put together a sentence or put together a set that is impactful takes a long time, especially if you have to do 26 rounds in a day or whatever with these new competition formats. That takes years.
Exactly. I mean, you do more than 30 seconds. You do more than 25 seconds. You do more than 20 seconds. You are at risk of um, the rest of your day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a long day when you're competing in today's competitions. It's a long day.
Mm-hmm.
You may be battling. Uh, you may do one battle within 3 hours, and then the rest of the time you're waiting. It's ridiculous, So people think that they have to go so long just to make sure. I don't know what it is. It never used to be this way. It was just you did your thing, you got in there, you told your story, you ended, you executed with a bang, and that was it. Now it's like you tell your story, I'm gonna tell another one. I'm gonna tell 3 stories just to get my
Mm-hmm.
point across. And that was only round one.
Right, right. Yeah, so you're talking about how a lot of people are trying to fit in more because it feels like they have limited time on the floor, but at the same time, the days are so long. And one of the reasons is because they're including so many different categories. You have the youth, the teens, and then you have the adults, and then you have men, women. There's a lot going on in these competitions, and they're trying to, and I understand why, to be as inclusive as possible, but it makes it for a very challenging experience for the athletes and for the breakers. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. But changing topics, right now in your role, from DJing to hosting to developing the Breakbook, what is the biggest challenge that you're facing, and how are you working through it?
Holy, what is the biggest challenge? The biggest challenge is um wanting to do everything like today. I may want to start playing baseball today. I may want to start a baseball team. It's just like, you know, ever since I realized that um, I'm free from judging and I don't have to uh, rely on that, it's just, I keep thinking, what else can I do? Oh, I could do this. I could, and it's just, I lose sleep. I'm like, where did the day go? And whether I'm researching or editing, uh, filming, whatever it is, I'm just like, I gotta slow down. So whatever I'm telling everybody in the break book, I gotta apply to myself with what I'm doing because I'm trying to do it all.
Mm-hmm.
and I'm
Yeah.
having and I'm having fun doing it, but it's like it's not smart. It's not smart.
Right, because you're kind of spreading yourself thin, and then your body of work, although it has a lot of versatility, like you have a lot of variety, a lot of things happening, the depth maybe it's a little shallow, but maybe not. Maybe there's something there that is unique. That if you look at the variety of things that you're doing, when you put it in like a vertical, it's very deep. Like you can go very deep, and I'm wondering what is the cross section there? Like, what's the thing that is common to every single project that you start and you work on? And maybe a better way of thinking about it is like, what are you trying to get good at? Like, what is it you're trying to master right now, um, regardless of how you're expressing yourself?
Wow. I'm just trying to do better than I did yesterday.
Yeah, what does that mean?
If I wrote a song yesterday, if I made a beat, if I went online and went on IG Live and did some interviews, if 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 I went to sleep at 9 p.m., I got to do better the next. I got to do better than that. Maybe I'll do some dishes the next day. I mean, it's just the constant challenge of learning. I think um I don't know how to I don't know how to be patient with that. It's like
Mm,
I want to keep learning how to get better every day, and I got to tell myself like, look, I don't have to keep pushing like this every day, and be patient with getting better. So, um, and with doing the magazine, um, it's a 15-page magazine. I put that together by myself. Like,
mm-hmm. Yeah, you wrote it, you laid it out, you designed it.
I did ask for bios and stuff like that, and there is an ad in there that Break Clothing designed, but to produce that magazine was, I look at it now, I'm like, yo, I need to slow down. It's great for what it is. It could be way better, but it's just I knew that the outcome wasn't gonna be solid like 100 because it's the first one, and I just felt like I needed to get it out. I need to see what this is about. Is everybody really feeling this like they say they are? And when I released it, I was like, yo, okay, there's potential. But now I just need to be patient, just like everybody else. And the thing is I have the tools to do these things. Now, just because I had the tools, I got to give respect to the tools and respect to whatever thing I'm trying to accomplish. If it's a magazine, if it's a competitor, if it's a music video, if it's a song, there has to be quality and there has to be a a a, a clear understanding of what were you trying to do, and not just
Yeah.
like rush into things. And so that's my challenge. My thing is just like I need to be patient as well.
Yeah. Is that a trend? Because this is something that I've experienced a lot in the past, and I do less now for many reasons. But do you shoot from the hip, and then all of a sudden you're doing it, and you're like, oh shit, what did I get myself into?
All day, every day.
Yeah. So you're like, oh, let me start a magazine, and then bam, you start a magazine. You're like, oh damn, now I'm editing, writing, designing, and now I have to sell this thing and promote it.
That's what drives me though. Is the
Hmm.
challenge. Is the
Yeah.
challenge because I was always told no. No, you can't play basketball. You're never going to be in the NBA. No, you can't do this move. No, you're too short. No, you can't do that. No, your beat is doo doo. So it's that's the drive. That's my
Hmm.
passion. Is the battle. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, you from what I know, you like to experience challenges that allow you to express your creativity in a unique way, and by learning tools like learning to work with tools like maybe the program that you use to design the magazine is something that is exciting to you. And then when you can integrate things that you've done in the past, like interviewing, podcasting, DJing, whatever, and mix it in, like for example, the interviews that you have that are not only in written form but also in spoken form and video format, it all comes together. And I think that's just my perspective, is that when you get to weave all that together, there's something about your inner being that just lights up. Is that true?
Dude, so true. And the way you explain that just gave me the chills because when I started doing these interviews, I basically like the interview with Mel and with Bobby. I wanted to get their feedback on a lot of things. I just asked them questions, and I was just gonna write it down and put it into the book, into the magazine, and it turned into something else. Like I said to myself, dude, you see what you got yourself into? Because not only did it turn into a video like podcast type thing, I wasn't. That's not what I was shooting for. I just wanted to put this in a magazine. So once I realized that digital, you could open up different options. Like you could tap on an image and a video will pop up. My mind just went boom. I'm like, oh my goodness, I could put hidden links in here to exclusive music or to some uh an exclusive party or some merch or whatever it is. So it just opened up a whole can of worms, and I wasn't ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do uh basically for the next one, it'll what you see in the interview, the type will be basically like a trailer to the actual video, and I just have to find out or figure out how to maximize and make it um, with quality instead of trying to be like all these competitors today and stack everything in one round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think I mean, I'm a fool, so don't listen to me. But one of the challenges with something like this is you working on a project because you simply want to have a creative outlet versus you working on a project as a creative outlet, but with the intention of bringing it to market, which is now selling it. So if people are going to pay $7 for this issue, like how do you bring it to market in a way where people actually want to buy it? That's a completely different conversation. And I think this is where trying to figure out what is it that the breaking scene wants and what is it that they need, and bringing that together in a product that they didn't even know that they could have is yeah, that's the challenge, is finding that. And that requires uh, a lot of forethought, and it also requires to want to start to kind of like warm up the audience and to do research in different ways. But I feel like you have your finger on the pulse when it comes to the breaking scene, and I'm just curious, like, what is it do you think the breaking scene right now needs more than ever?
Guidance, guidance. They need guidance on how to practice, how to make sure the foundation is tight before they try to learn anything else. They need a platform. They need a platform to be seen, to be heard, because there's a ton of talent out there in this scene that people don't know about, and I want to try to be that link. I want to try to be that platform for them to shine on. I want to have a category or a page in there specifically for people that make beats. It can't just be flag, lean rock, scheme. There got to be more. And if they're not good enough, well, somebody got to teach them. They got to learn from somebody. So um, I'm all about trying to grow this scene. This is why I risked everything with judging and stopping myself from saying yes. This is the reason. This is the reason I want to give people this platform.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, this is yeah. I put this Breakbook magazine out, but this is for us. Scheme's gonna have his own page. Bobby's gonna have his own page. The parents got their own section. So this is I want people to see what this magazine is right now. The issue number 1, because it's 15 pages. I did it all myself. It's not the best. I mean, it may look like a clutter, but hey, this is where we started from. And I don't plan on doing just one or two or three. I plan on doing this every month. So see the growth, see the journey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the same way that people in the scene right now from your perspective need guidance, what is it that you need?
The same. I need I need all the guidance. I need patience too. I need to learn how to structure my day, structure my week, because I'm trying to do everything now that I have time, and I'm not um looking after the athletes at Breaking for Goal USA. I'm trying to figure out what am I here for right now, and I feel like right now I'm throwing shots up. I'm throwing shots up and trying to see what sticks.
Hmm. But there's certain things that you like to do, like you like emceeing, and I think you do like DJing once in a while.
I mean, I like doing it all. I like going to the gym and playing basketball. I mean, I haven't done that because I'm in here trying to figure everything else out. I've been wanting to get on the turntables and put a mix out. I just got this new MIDI keyboard because I've been wanting to make beats, but I'm just like, okay, where do I start today?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah,
um,
I hear you. Yeah, I've been in a similar position actually where, when I transitioned out of just coaching people on like physical movement in CrossFit and realized that where I thrive is in talking about the inner game, the inner workings of the mind and the emotions, and how by accessing those you can access the keys and the concepts that you need to express yourself at a higher level. um, I had to also go through that transition. I'm currently in it where I've had to, shoot in the dark in many different directions to see where things stick. And um, there are certain things that have worked, but it's only been temporarily. And there are certain things that haven't worked, but I have a hunch that they could work. And one of those is kind of like this podcast. And um, although I don't know if it's going to be successful because well, we could define success, but I don't know if it's going to blow up necessarily, and I don't know exactly what direction it's going in. My sense is that it's going to work, even though the internet is flooded with podcasts and everybody and their mom has one. I think the uniqueness of my voice and the interactions that I have with people is that which is going to set it apart. And I believe that to be true for you is that there's a uniqueness about who you are, and every single person out there has a uniqueness that when you can find any medium to express that, you become original. And when you become original, you immediately stand out from all that which is generic, which is most of the stuff that we're currently consuming or most of the stuff that we are engaging with. And I see this in breaking. There's a lot of breakers out there. There's probably millions, I would say, of breakers, but there are only a few who stand out. And those who truly stand out, that little pocket of superstars, regardless of them being, Red Bull BZ1 All Stars or just legends of the scene. Um, what I see is that they all have chosen their own way, their own style, and that's what I am just very curious to explore. And I think what you're doing right now is exactly that. And um, this whole thing leads me to asking you: is there anything that you believe in or feel is very true within breaking or outside of breaking that other people strongly disagree with you on?
Whoa, disagree with me on.
What is something that people like push back when you say it? Or what is it that you haven't said that if you said you believe people could potentially push back on?
Well, I'll tell you this. When I say that the Renegade Rockers beat style elements at Radiotron, hey. But aside from that, you know what? I honestly don't even know, and I
Hmm.
and I don't care. What I do is I just line myself up with people with the same energy I got. That's it.
Hmm.
The rest doesn't matter. I don't care. I'm wearing a Warriors jersey right now. A lot of people hate the Warriors. I'm wearing this Bboy Wicket cap right now. A lot of people don't like me because I judge against them all the time. Give a fuck. with love, with love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Of course. No, it's like you you want to do you regardless of what people's opinions are about you. And I guess what I'm trying to explore is like, is there anything in your mind that you see that others seem to be challenged in seeing?
Man, that's a great question, CP. Can you please rephrase that?
Yeah. So yeah. Can you put that in a sentence?
Can you put that in a
Uh,
sentence?
yeah. What I mean is like, what is it that you maybe see out there that just people continue to do or say that from your vantage point is just not true? Like, what is
Not
something
true.
that people are just confused about, in your opinion?
Ah, well, I'll tell you one thing. Hopefully, this makes sense. There are people in my program, in the Breakbook program. A lot of them, they they have moves that go the opposite direction, and they think that they can win. They think they can win with their way of breaking. They think they can advance, get past the prelims, and do all the big events. And when they hear me say, well, look, you got to get this move to connect to this move in the same direction. You got to, and they just don't get that. They don't believe it. Well, we don't have time. We don't have the event is next month. I don't give a fuck. What are you paying me for? Do you want me to coach you or not? What am I here for? I'm basically we're wasting our time then. So it's just like, for example, if I say, okay, for your assignment today, when you go to practice, I want to see windmill flare 90. Oh, my 90 goes the other direction. Well, work on that 90 then. Make it go the right direction. Otherwise, you got a hole in your strategy. Otherwise, I'm no good for you. And I feel like that's a constant battle with several people in the Breakbook program right now, is to get them to to settle down. Okay, if you don't have these moves the same direction, maybe you shouldn't be competing next month. Simple as that.
Yeah, and for people who are listening who have no clue what you're talking about, let's say you had three elements, and these elements were moving in a certain direction, rotating to your right or clockwise. As you go from one to another, if one of those moves you have practiced in isolation, separated from that sequence, and done it in the opposite direction, it means that when you plug it in, you can't connect it into those three movements, so it can't become a sequence, right? So what you're saying is, just because you practice these moves in isolation and now you can't fit it in doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to do it. Thus, go practice that movement that doesn't fit into the sequence that you need to be able to advance yourself in this like competition in isolation so that you can be better, right? Is that what you're saying?
Hell, motherfucker, yeah. Oh shit, that was beautiful.
Okay, so um that's what you said. So the other thing that I'm hearing is, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that people don't want to change the way that they've been doing things because they feel like if they have to go backwards, regression, they're not going to make it forward. It feels like they're actually regressing in their practice. They're becoming worse.
Well, yes, because it takes time. If you've been doing something for so long, you've been going right for so long, and now I'm here to tell you to go left. It takes time. I mean, you're so used to this angle, to holding your body this way, upside down, spinning this. Oh, you got to spin the other way now and use this side. Well, hey, how bad do you want to win?
Mm-hmm.
What you want me to tell you? Okay, yeah, you know what? Just all right, we'll figure it out. Nah, we got standards.
Mm-hmm.
Get your ass going the other way.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you. And I think this is where, like, if we could bring this to a higher level, a common theme for everybody listening that are in breaking or out of breaking is that when you learn that regression is progression, that's when the magic happens.
Yeah. Well, Say that again. Hold on.
Write that down. Write that down. Write that down, Wicket.
Regression.
Yeah, regression is progression, meaning mastering the basics, going back to the basics, developing the foundation is what is going to get you to a higher level, because it's the base of your pyramid. Thus, the bigger your base, the higher you can build a pyramid. But at the same time, a foundation can evolve, and breaking is evolving. And I think the breaking that we're seeing today, and once again, I'm not a break dancer. I don't know jack about this, but I simply see it from my vantage point as somebody who has studied movement for a long time and physical expression. I see that the foundation has evolved in breaking, and that a certain way of expressing the foundation, like in a technical manner, it has slightly changed. And the evolution of that foundation is something that I think we're currently witnessing right now. And there's almost like a passing of the torch. And I know this sounds very convoluted and very crazy, but do you agree with that? Do you disagree with that? How do you feel about that?
I think I see what you mean, but there's only one foundation to me. One level of foundation. I mean the moves are becoming very difficult these days, right? I mean the power moves are crazy now. Um so I could see where you're coming from. There's levels of it, but you still got to start from the ground up.
Mhm.
Um a lot of these guys cannot even do a backspin, but they can fly. Air flares, one-handed air flares. They do all kinds of crazy air moves, but they can't do a backspin. What
Mhm.
if you knew how to do this backspin? What if you knew how to do this backspin? What if that control can apply to other moves? You could be that much better. You could understand your body that much better.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I mean, you got to start with A.
Yeah. And this is just to challenge you for fun, but do you have evidence that proves that that foundation that you are trying to encourage people to follow actually does translate to the higher level performance?
Hell yeah.
Okay. And where have you seen that? And is there anybody in particular, anything that you've done or instilled in others and worked with others that have kind of shown that?
Yeah, the guys here in Austin, Savage.
Hmm.
Um, took them a really long time to understand my thought process and practice and what I was trying to get them to do. And once they started to understand that they weren't shit, because I taught like y'all ain't shit. You know what? If I ain't shit, y'all ain't shit. And meaning, look, you may have these certain moves right now, but if you can't do a backspin to baby freeze, the most simplest combination, what makes you think you can learn anything else above what you got right now? And they were always losing. They were just looking for that next event to compete at, shooting in the dark. And once I started to tell them, look, y'all got to slow down. Y'all got to learn these basics. We got to get these basics, get this form right. Y'all got to get this get off your flat hands and everything about detail and foundation. So once they started to realize like, oh, I have control now. Oh, I could do a backspin to baby. Everything else in their library started to change. Their control started to change. Their form started to turn into something better. They became lighter. They didn't have to use that much muscle in their combinations because their form was correct or they knew how to transition out of something. And once I realized, oh, Dre got it, then Wayne got it, then J Rock started to get it. Now everybody's starting to get it. And they realize, man, we've been doing it wrong all along. And a lot of it is trust. You got to be around these people. You got to be coaching them. You got to be on them. It's just you can't just tell them one thing and leave them alone. You got to be there every day, checking on them.
Hmm.
So with and like I said, they never. I don't know if I said this already, but they never got past the prelims out here. They had kids passing them up, meaning if they go to a breaking event for the people that don't understand what the prelim. So there's breaking events. You have to go through a prelim round to get to the next top 16 or top 32, whatever, and they would never get past the prelims. So last year I made it a point. Look, I'm gonna coach you guys, and I'm gonna show you what you guys need to do with these basics, and y'all gonna see you're gonna get past the prelims at Bboy City. So we trained for 5-6 months. I made them all get a whiteboard, and I made them write it down during our training. Savage is getting past the prelims at Bboy City. And so Bboy City comes up after months and months and months of practice. I mean, we wouldn't get home till like 1 a.m. on a weekday. These guys have work, you know. So Bboy City comes up. The first day, there's 2 days. It's a 2-day event. First day was the prelims. I said, all right, y'all, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm not even going to the first day. That's how much I believe in y'all, and that it's already done. Y'all got past the prelims. I'm not even going. And they're like, "Oh, for real? Yeah, well, you come on, man." Like, nah, I'm not even going. I'll see y'all tomorrow at top 16. Long story short, I ended up going. I had to go. I had to go. So I was on stage with them during their battle, being their coach, being their support, yelling at them, just making sure that they knew that I was there on stage with them, and they did great. They did actually. Wait a second. Wait a second. I lied. I lied. I was at the club. I went to the club. The first day was at the club, and I didn't tell nobody I was pulling up. So I got there with Ronnie. We were stuck outside. We were stuck outside because it was at capacity. And I told Zach from Breakbook, I said, "Hey man, tell Omar, whoever, just tell him to come out here and tell him to get me. I need to come in right now. I'm outside. They won't let me in." So Zach made a call. Omar came running out. "Wicket, where you at?" Pulled us in. And right when we got in, Savage was, I think they had just finished. And so I didn't really get to see them. But I was like, you know what? I'll see y'all tomorrow. Went home that night, and they didn't announce who made it past the prelims until the next morning. And I forget who called me. I think it was, I think I was texting with Omar or something like that. And he was telling me who made it past the prelims. I said, "Yo, did Savage make it?" Let me see. Yep, Savage made it. I said, "Fuck yeah, bitches, motherfuckers! I told y'all." So I got off the phone with him, and I said, "Don't tell him. Let me break it to him." I got them all on the phone on FaceTime, like 8 a.m. before they post. I said, "Don't post it yet. Don't post it. Let me tell him first." 8 a.m. I said, "Hey, I need an emergency FaceTime call right now with all of y'all." Guess what? Y'all motherfuckers made it. I fucking told y'all. Told y'all. Fucking backspin baby freeze, bitches. So from then on, it was just proof that the practice you put in and that belief and that support and making sure that everybody's aligned with that same energy, that same goal. That's it, man. You let your practice show up, and that practice showed up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so basically the foundation does carry over, which I agree on. And maybe when you're working with people at a higher level or at a level that where they're already established within the scene and they have their style, that there could be a part of the coaching challenge that is separating the foundation from a personal style. And my question is, how do you help people who are very advanced in their breaking career and in their craft to pursue foundation without it feeling like it's taking away from the way that they break?
That's a great question because remotely, being in person is you're hands on, but remotely, it's like everything is out of your control. You can only do so much remotely. So instead of sidetracking their whole approach, the competitor's approach to the next event, you just have to be there and tell them, okay, can I make a suggestion? Instead of telling them, hey, do a chair freeze, and not knowing why, because I learned that from from this whole experience. But yeah, it's just to make suggestions and to give them ideas. Maybe you should add this here, try this here. Maybe you should stack right here. Maybe you should do a halo right here. Maybe you should dance a little bit more. Um, Maybe take your time. There's so many things that you can apply to the competitors program, but it just really um, you're really there to just give them ideas.
Hmm. Which is very hard to do because being a creative partner when you're working with creatives uh, is very challenging. That means that both parties need to be fully open to that creative process, and there needs to be trust that's developed. And I'm wondering, how have you found yourself developing trust with the people that you work with?
I look at it like, here's an example. If I'm making a beat, right? If I'm making a beat and I get stuck, I'm like, this nothing is just sounding funky. The way hear it in my head is not coming out, and I'm just getting really discouraged. What I'll do is I'll go to a sample pack. I'll go to a sample pack, and what sample packs are is these producers will put out. They'll release sounds every month of their own sounds that they create, or they find records and they sample and they tweak it, and they call them sample packs. They could be kicks, it could be guitars, basses, voice, anything. So I look at it like, well, this is kind of like if the athlete is stuck and they're not feeling great at practice, they're going to go to their sample pack, which is the coaches. So I looked at it that way, instead of being the sample pack trying to work backwards and telling the artist what to do. So that's the way that I applied my relationship with everyone that signs up, and it's working.
Yeah. Yeah, trust is a challenging thing to develop at times, but I think it's pretty simple when you are able to exhibit competence in your craft, meaning that you have a proven track record. And I think one of the challenges the coaches were facing with Breaking for Gold is that although they had been teachers for a long time, they do have expertise in the field. Is that there is maybe not enough evidence or a body of work that is like directly linked to them as coaches. Like they've been performers, they've been breakers, they've been competitors, they've done amazing things, but the track record as coaches maybe is like shorter, and that could be potentially something that uh, people struggle to adhere to when it comes to seeing the competence. But competence is, and I'm just bringing that up because I know that for a while there was a little bit of a challenge to get the highest level performers to all of a sudden be like, hey, you've been breaking for 15 years on your own. Now you're going to have coaches. They're like, oh, what? What is this? Um, but I think, and one of the challenges was that it's kind of like, yeah, well, where's your track record as a coach? Why should I even trust you? I trust you as a performer. I trust you as a breaker. I admire you. I respect you. But all of a sudden, you're going to tell me what to do. That's like, hey, back off, right? But what I'm trying to get to is that I believe that competence sometimes is not only having a track record, but being able to demonstrate your ability to adapt to a situation and to be willing to learn and show that you can improve your skill set rapidly in a way that aligns with the people that you're collaborating with. And what I've admired you for this year especially is your ability to adapt to a new role that you haven't really taken on before. And I think that's something that is trustworthy. And I don't know if that resonates with you, anything that I said, or if it feels like
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you for that. That really means a lot coming from you, because I'm definitely being more bold and brave. Uh, Hosting Red Bull BC1 World Final with my verse. I mean, this is totally out of my comfort zone. I was not expecting that at all. I think it all started from there too. Once I felt like oh shit, I just hosted the world final. This wasn't no prelim event. It was the world final. So after I did that, right after the event, I went to the dressing room and I sat there for like 30 minutes. I could hear people screaming my name, looking for me because I had to take photos, I had to do interviews, but I was just sitting there like, oh shit, I did it. What now? What else can I do? Then I started to get bold. That's where that's where that's when I realized, oh shit, if I could do this in New York City, let's play ball.
Mm.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing all this stuff.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. And I think as you continue to create, you'll continue to attract, which is exciting. And something that I was just thinking about right now is some just like vanity metrics when it comes to your growth, meaning things that may seem superficial. But for example, in the last 4 months or 3.5 months, you have gone from 40,000 followers on Instagram to 110,000 followers on Instagram. Uh, one, how did that happen? Two, do you even care? And three, is it making an impact on you in a positive way?
Well, it all started when I spelled my name wrong, or I spelled coach wrong. I spelled coach wrong, and I know how to spell, man, but I got the phone I got. Look, it's it's the 13, so I miscalculated how big my thumbs were. And what sucks is, um, if you have a verified account, you could only change your name once within 30 days. So I was like, fuck. So for 30 days, people blowing up my DMs. Wiki, you spelled your name wrong. Wiki, you spelled coach wrong. And I'm just like, and it just kept, my DMs were like stacked, 80 a day, something like that. Even people were tagging me on story. So that just started to steamroll. And then also hashtagging um, Bboy Wicket from You Got Served, because realizing that that movie inspired a whole entire dance scene, just like how Beat Street inspired me. You know, just changing that. It just, yeah. I mean, that's where it started, and then doing BC1, hosting that, even leading up to that. Because I started to, I hosted in Canada, the finals in Canada. So that's where it really started to snowball.
Mm. So a mistake led you to the beginning of a snowball.
Yeah, and it just became like, man, I can't even. I was responding to people like, I know I gotta wait till I change it, and it just got old. I stopped responding, and because of that, more messages came. Is because I guess they felt like, oh, he didn't see the message, or oh, he's not trying to respond. Oh, so it's funny sometimes.
Yeah, that's interesting. And has that positively impacted you to have more followers? Because I know a lot of people out there are trying to gain followers.
Honestly, uh, yeah, actually, yeah, you get more attention because um, people will want to collaborate with you. But a lot of the times, it's like, you're not in my lane. We're not in the same world. It wouldn't even make sense. They just see the numbers, and so you'll get um, a lot of opportunities that won't work for you.
Mm,
And once I started to realize, oh look, this is not going to work, or this doesn't even make sense, um, it just became a distraction because
mm,
it made me want to do some research about certain people or certain companies, and should we do an influencer collaboration? Is this a waste of time? This doesn't even make it doesn't make sense. If I feel like it don't make sense, I'm not even going to waste no energy on it.
right.
But sometimes it does work out in your way. And when it doesn't, it's great. Yeah, of course. But there's a lot of distraction.
Right. You cast a bigger net, and within that bigger net, you're probably going to catch something that is good. But the question is, how do you filter that out? And my follow up question to that is, how do you choose who you want to work with? What are the things that people have to bring to the table to make you excited to want to work with them?
I just do some research on them. You know, if I see any posts or uh, videos with them talking or whatever content they're putting out, and I feel that energy is the same as mine, then yeah, okay, let's try, let's see.
Hmm. And does it have anything to do with the product that you may be endorsing or the service? Is there anything there that you're thinking, I want this to align with what I'm doing and supercharge me? And if so, like the supercharging, what is it that you want it to supercharge? Is it more reach? Is it being able to learn a new skill? What is it?
It could go both ways. I mean, it definitely has to stay within the scene and how we can grow the scene through using my platform. um what can you teach me? How can I help you? It really depends on each um, opportunity, and it really comes down to um, how can we help each other and make sure that this is for the right purpose and we're not wasting time here.
Hmm. Are there anybody in the scene? Are there any people or any brands in the scene that you currently, in the breaking scene specifically, that you admire, look up to, and are modeling after at this moment?
Yeah, I mean, I've tried. You know, I know how hard it is to create merch and to push that and to make some fashion and you know it's
Yeah,
from
who's doing it? Who's doing it well?
um I would say A Fatty, Universal Breaking Clothing, Break Clothing. Lil Rock has Respected. I mean, it's just everyone that has a brand out there. They inspire me, and it just shows me like, look, I could potentially do this too, but maybe not today. So anyone that's pushing their gear out there, or even events to produce an event, you and I both know down and dirty.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, we did an event together.
we did two of them,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm just inspired by everybody that's doing work. You know, that's why I like to feature whoever is doing work. Scheme Richards, Baby Girl with B Girl City, the parents, um, you know, whoever's joining the pro. Everyone's still doing work. You know, and it's not just the clothing um, that I'm just inspired by the same energy.
Mm-hmm. Is there anybody outside of the breaking scene that you would like to collaborate with?
Rob Deerdeck.
Yeah, so for example, with Rob Deerdick, you would have to be part of the Deerdick Machine, which is basically a venture capital group that helps you spin things up. I think they come in as like operators for a little bit and until launch. Um, if the Breakbook were to collaborate with like the Deerdick Machine, what is it that you feel you would have to do right now to get to a point where a company like that, a person like that, would be willing to see you?
I honestly don't know. I
Yeah.
honestly don't know. I mean, I, I'm still learning, even though that people are signing up for the Breakbook magazine. I'm still learning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having fun learning, and the journey is. I take it one day at a time, and once I figure it out, then I'm pretty sure I'll give you a call. And hey, what does this sound like? You think this is how this works? You you already know how it works, but
I know some, but I have not been able to arrive at that point in my development or in any business that I've created where I've been able to get a bigger name and a bigger company to really want to um, help me spin up. And although I live in Silicon Valley, and this is the land of, or at least the original land of startups, I think it's moved to Austin, Texas, where you are right now. Yeah, I'm kind of out of the loop in that way. But the reason I asked you this question is because I know a lot of people listening out there are seeking to grow, and they want to plug into organizations, brands, other people to spin up and to grow faster. But they don't know how to do that. And I think that's one of the points that we're kind of getting to when it comes to mentorship, is that you have to seek out people who can guide you in shaping that which you're creating in a way that it can plug in and be plugged into, so that you can create things. Furthermore, and this is something that I've learned over the last decade, and it's really kind of landed for me, is that desirability is actually the most important aspect of growing something. Something can be feasible, meaning it's possible to do, it's viable, it's something that it's sustainable financially, there are resources, you can grow it. But the question is it really desirable, meaning is this something that you really want to do? And a lot of times the answer is no. Just because you see it out there and you think it looks cool, you think it feels cool from afar, once you're in it, it's completely different. And I think basing our growth on true desirability, on the things that we really want to do, is key to be able to achieve new levels. And the theme that I've kind of heard in our conversation today has been that it's like you want to live in the fire, in the position or space where you can be creative and you can explore who you are in the process while developing new skills, and those skills allowing you to produce things, create things that positively impact your community, your scene, and that you knowing that it will come back to support you in some way, whether it's financially, new opportunities, get access to new platforms, be able to refine your skills, refine the way that you communicate, and just continue to live. And that living being one that is in a constant state of evolution or adaptation, and that being the ultimate goal. You're like you're the infinite student, yet express yourself as a master.
Whoa,
Yeah, that's my rant.
whoa, dude, that was fucking. You know, I was sitting in the backyard with Ronnie, and we have a pit, a fire pit. I'm sitting there just looking at this fire, and I realized, damn, it's about to go out. All of a sudden, this one strand goes into something, and poof, it stays lit. I can't believe I just said that. So it made me realize that's what I am. I'm like this fire, and no matter where it goes, it's gonna stay. Um, it's gonna stay burning, and that's what I like to see myself as, is like I'm gonna stay burning um, throughout these challenges, and it's gonna lead to somewhere, and eventually, the purpose is for me is to just keep exploring opportunities to grow our scene through my experience, even with me learning. That's why I don't care if people see this magazine and it's the first one and it's like, what is this? It's the first one. It'll lead into something. Let me get my foot in the door. Let me do step one.
Hmm.
That's why when you ask me that question, what do I need to do with the break book to be looked at, or I want to figure it out. Because I think it's fun. I think that's where my passion is. I want to learn these things. I want to learn the foundation, and learning through this experience is uh, what I've been preaching. Is I got to be patient too.
Hmm.
I can't always ask for the answers, because that doesn't necessarily give me the joy of learning or going through the journey. I want to. Um, I need to go through it as well.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah, and I think what you just said is super powerful, because a lot of times we look up to people, or we look to people who we believe have the solutions or have figured it out, but in reality they're in the same position that we're in, just at a different level. And I believe when you get to hear people speaking and thinking from that place, it's equally as inspiring and as insightful as somebody who has already been through it.
Mm, whoa, man, you just dropping bars all day.
I don't know. Anyways, I may be just speaking out of my ass, but I do think that that is true, and it's something that I have really been leaning into. It's kind of like right now, one of the things that I'm dealing with is I'm taking on this role as a coach that I've been for a long time, but now more dedicated to lifestyle and performance when it comes to expressing yourself at the highest level, whether it's in your career or in your relationships or in the way that you communicate, whatever it may be, with the element. And this is what I think part of my uniqueness is that I come in as a creative collaborator. I am somebody who comes in and helps people think different. And as I've been kind of leaning into this position as a coach, I realized that I am in a state of development where I need that same coaching that I'm giving people. And that producing at times some dissonance or a place of uh, me lacking maybe confidence or the certainty. But I realized that when I can express that uncertainty, every single time what happens is that I come to a place of greater clarity. And even when I express the uncertainty or the vulnerability, that which I don't know, the people I work with tend to respect me even more because they realize that I'm not bullshitting them. I'm just giving them what I have. And that there's also this intention of continuing to develop from there. And I think that's also very powerful. So the fact that you could share that you didn't know what you wanted to do or how to do it with the Breakbook, I think is inspiring.
Doesn't it feel great when you know that there's still plenty that I need to learn myself? And you expressing that to the people that are around you in your circle and in your program, and it just makes you feel like, okay, he's just like us. We all ain't shit.
Hmm.
I mean, a comical way, but yeah, I just feel like it, don't put a cap on learning, and I think that's what my passion is right now. I, I used to be a competitor, heavily competing in the breaking scene, and all that energy, that whole concept is going into how can I combine these positions, whether I'm publishing a magazine or producing a song or coaching people, hosting. How can I combine these things and make it worthwhile for the scene?
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's it. Wicket, it's been awesome talking to you. Any final words? Anything you want people to know before we depart?
Yeah, be patient. Whatever your passion is, whatever tools you have at your hands, be patient and follow your gut. Stay out of the way. Um, don't force anything. Take your time with it, and keep learning.
I love it. Where can people follow you and support you?
They can follow me on Instagram at Bboy Wicket, BBOYWICKET. That's pretty much it. You can find me there.
Cool. That's your landing page. I like it. My friend, I love you. I appreciate you. And I look forward to continuing to watch you do your thing. It's inspiring. And my feeling is that we will continue to cross paths in the future. So,
Absolutely. Thank you
yeah.
for helping me fill up my time cards at Acro Sports.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to Korea with me to R16, and thank you for letting me be a guest on your show.
Dude, thank you. You've been a very impactful person and figure in my life. So,
Wait, say that
I'm
again. I think my Wi-Fi was shot. Can you say that again? I didn't hear that correctly.
you have been a very impactful figure in my life, so I appreciate you dearly. And yeah, I'm excited that we got to have this conversation. I can't wait to share it.
Let's do another one.
We'll do another one. All right, my friend. Peace.
This
See ya.
is the freestyle way.